There we go. Okay, well, today is our second webinar of the week. Yesterday we covered the products and went through command and control, the different packages. Went through the 6 residential packages, the 4 commercial packages, and so hopefully everybody was able to benefit from that. Today we're going to talk about my favorite subject, which is lead generation. It's really interesting. Greg, I know you've had a lot of experience. You might agree or disagree with me, but I think that in our business, success and failure is going to be more determined by your ability to generate leads than probably anything else. I think if you find enough people who are interested in talking to you about a system for their home or their business, you're probably going to be able to make the sale. I mean, our products sell themselves if you find interested people. You're representing a brand that is so dominant in this market that it's really not that difficult to make the sale. In fact, with new people, we find that when they're invited in the home, 90% of the time they're going to walk out with the order. So it really I think the skill that you've got to develop in this business early on is the ability to generate enough quality leads for yourself. Lead generation is all about getting in front of the right person at the right time. And both of those two components are very important. So today what we're going to do is talk a little bit about lead generation, some things that you can look for. We're going to talk about some specific methods. I do want you to come off mute anytime you have a question or you want to make a comment, and certainly want this to be something that you participate in. But really and truly, I think this is the key to success in the business is lead generation. And I know we got other people on the phone here, like Steve Manos is on the phone. He's a realtor, by profession, and he'll probably tell you the same thing about real estate. Getting in front of enough of the right people at the right time. So I think in any sales business, the lead generation is the key. One of the things that's very unique about our dealer program is, we're representing ADT, and ADT spends millions and millions of dollars on advertising. You're not going to be very successful trying to do the same thing they do because you're only going to drive leads to them. The type of marketing that you have to do has to be localized marketing, more organic, doing things that are going to really drive those leads to yourself because, again, you're representing a brand that somebody could just say, oh, ADT, let me go on the website, or let me just call in. So you need lead generation techniques that are going to really drive those leads directly to you. Okay, so let's talk about a couple things here on this next slide here. Can you folks, can somebody confirm that you can see the slides? I forgot to confirm that.
You can see it.
Okay, good. So let me minimize this, get it out of my way. So right here, the first question that I want us to talk about is who we're looking for. It's very important that you understand who our prospects are. Our prospects need to be homeowners. They need to be people who are credit worthy. We do a soft credit check. It's an Equifax credit check. You'll be able to do that right inside your portal. And that credit check is the reason we do a credit check, if anybody ever asks, is because ADT is going to invest approximately $1,000 in free equipment for this customer. And even though they trust us, they want to make sure that this customer is a real person and they're willing and capable to make their payments. So we do need to get credit approval. It is a 3-year agreement. ADT is willing to invest $1,000 worth of free equipment in the customer because, they know that they're going to get that money back over time. But we do need a minimum commitment of 3 years unless you're in California. I know, Steve, you're out in California. California has a 2-year maximum contract. So in California, we can only do a 2-year agreement. Everywhere else, we do a 3-year agreement. And you'll find that 3-year agreements are actually becoming short in our industry. There's other competitive companies out there now doing 4- and 5-year agreements, but we only need a 3-year agreement. They do need to be a new ADT customer. ADT is not going to pay us to bring them somebody they already have. So one of the things that we always want to make sure of is that they're not currently an ADT customer. If they were an ADT customer at some point in the past and now they are wanting to re-sign back up, they must be gone from ADT for at least 3 years, 3 months. They have to be gone for at least 3 months in order for them to qualify to be able to come back as a new customer and for you to be able to sign them up. Also, if they move to a new location, they become fair game. So an existing customer that moves to a new address, that new address becomes open to any of us. So that's one of the reasons we like to work with new homeowners, because even if they've been a customer in the past, we don't have any type of a wait that we have to look at. Just be aware that sometimes people may reach out to you about getting a system, and then you find out that they have an older system. They're interested in your new smart home system. And if they are currently with ADT, you cannot do anything with them. So always thank them for being a customer, but then send them back to ADT for any type of an upgrade, because again, you won't be able to do anything. ADT is not going to pay us. And then the final thing is a $99 activation fee. The $99 activation fee is what allows us to connect them to the local police, fire, and medical authorities through ADT. ADT wants to know that the customer has some skin in the game and they have paid that activation fee, and the customer does need to pay that with their form of payment, which would be a major credit card or their bank account. We can't pay that for them. So again, that's a requirement. ADT wants everybody to pay that $99. So we're looking for somebody who can check these boxes. They're a homeowner, they're going to pass credit, they're willing to sign a 3-year agreement, they're a new customer for ADT, and they're willing to pay the $99 activation fee. Does anybody have any questions that you want to ask about that? Does that make sense? Any questions? Okay. Now, the second question is, who are the people who are most likely to be looking for us? And so here's where we start talking about some of the clues that you're going to want to think about, the types of people who are very likely to be looking for us. Listen, security is a reactive purchase. And when I say that, what I mean is, generally it happens, people generally will buy a security system when they first move into a home, or if they've lived in their home for some time, they'll generally look for a security system in response to something that has occurred, some new event in their life. It doesn't always have to be a bad thing. It can be a good thing. But it generally takes some kind of a trigger to get people to buy a security system. People that lived in their house for 10 years, never had a security system, they don't just wake up on Saturday morning and say, hey, honey, I think, why don't we take a look at a security system? It's just not that type of a purchase. It's normally going to be a reaction to something that has occurred. So what are those things that occur? Well, obviously, the new mover is one of the best for us. As a matter of fact, that's the number one source of new business, are new movers. And if you think about it, the reason why new movers are such a good prospect for us is because when they move, a lot of times they feel a certain sense of vulnerability because they don't know their neighbors yet. They don't really know the neighborhood. You know, they become very security conscious because there's so many unknowns in their life. So we think that contributes, number one. Number two, if you happen to be in an area where there's new construction going on, a lot of times in these new construction type neighborhoods, they experience a lot of daytime break-ins. And it's very difficult because you have so many so many of the construction working kind of people coming and going. It's hard to tell who anybody is. And we find in those type of neighborhoods, they have a very high incidence of break-ins during the daytime. And so that becomes a reason why you'll see a lot of those folks get it. And then again, the other reason is a lot of times people had security at their previous house. They move into their new house. Yeah, it's just one of the things on their list. In fact, when people first move into a house, they have buying momentum. They're signing up for all kinds of things. Their utilities, they're getting television, they're getting internet. Maybe they're setting up a lawn care service. They're looking for a new dry cleaner. They got to find an auto mechanic. I mean, this is just part of moving. You start setting things up. And so and you plan for making these type of purchases. So it's a great time to interact with these people while they got their pocketbooks open and they're signing up for all these various services. Now, beyond the new mover, some of the other things that people react to are crime in the area. There's a number of websites. I'll show you one during our call today, but there's a number of websites that you can monitor that will help you identify recent break-ins in crime in neighborhoods. And if you go into a neighborhood where people have had some recent break-ins, you'll find that people will be very open to talking with you. In fact, they're probably thinking about calling you anyway. So that's a reaction. Same thing with a house fire. If a fire has broken out recently, that can be a catalyst. New babies. I've worked with a lot of young couples when they first get their first house, and I found that, it's very difficult sometimes to get them interested in security. I mean, it took every penny they had just to get their down payment and to get their utilities turned on. So they don't have a lot of extra money when they're young like that. And honestly, they don't have a lot of possessions. The furniture is hand-me-down or stuff they've had. And, again, if they have any discretionary money, they want to spend it on fun stuff like concerts and sporting events and going out to dinner. So it's kind of difficult, but you wait till that young couple has their first child. All of a sudden, they become very security conscious because now there's something to protect. And so the birth of a child can be be one of those triggers that can get people to look at security. On the other end of the spectrum, death of a loved one. Okay, you get a spouse, a couple live together for 50 years. One spouse passes. Now the other spouse comes home to an empty home. They're very lonely. They feel very vulnerable. And security finds its way into a situation like that as a way to provide peace of mind. Divorce, particularly if it's been an ugly divorce, that can be a trigger. Travel, people who start maybe have adopted a traveling lifestyle. Previously they weren't, but now they start traveling. Maybe they invested in a timeshare, or maybe purchased a vacation home, or maybe even got one of those RVs. And now on the weekends, they're not home like they once were. And so they worry about their house being empty on the weekends. And when that RV is gone, everybody knows they're gone. So they become more conscious of security. And then things like lifestyle changes, like empty nesters. The last child leaves home, and so the house is empty. Or maybe an elder care situation. We're seeing a lot of adult children moving their parents in with them because the parents can no longer live independently by themselves. And so while they're at work all day and the kids are at school, mom or dad home alone, and they feel a need to want to supervise what's going on. We talked about that yesterday with our command and control system. We have great tools for keeping up with what's going on in your home, even when you're not there. Okay, so these are just some of the reasons why people might be looking for us. I want you to start thinking about these and thinking about people that are in these situations, because again, you're going to find that unlike some home services, like let's take television or internet, 100% of the people are going to have those products, but not 100% of the people are going to have security. Actually, only about 25% have security. So really only about 1 in 4. And so you need to develop a mindset of looking for clues like this, because that'll increase the odds of you finding the right people at the right time. Any questions or comments anybody wants to make about this before we move on? Okay, well, what we're going to cover today are some different ways to actually build some systems. Okay, because I think if you're going to be successful, you need to put a system in place. You need to have some type of a systematic approach to generate leads. And I'm going to go over some different systems with you. I've got a list here of about 12 different systems that our dealers currently use successfully. Some of these probably aren't great right now, like for example, going out and doing home shows. Again, with the COVID pandemic, people aren't doing large gatherings right now. Speaking to groups, that's probably something that you're not going to do a lot of right now. So we'll probably not get into a few of those. But I did want to get into some that are very popular right now that you can look at and take advantage of. I always like to start this conversation with number one, friends and family. I think this is the very best thing that you can do. Back in March, when the pandemic really reached, kind of a panic stage, one of the things ADT did was send out a message to all of their dealers saying, hey, we don't want you out there canvassing neighborhoods. Well, canvassing neighborhoods is our number one source of new business. And so all of a sudden, everybody was, a lot of our top dealers were shut down from doing that. One of the things that we learned that we had not done really good job on is that the best resource we all had was the contact list in our phone. If you take your phone out and you just kind of scroll through your contact list, most of you have over 100 contacts in your phone. Some of you probably have way more than that. I know I do. Well, all those people in your contact list, they represent an opportunity to help you get your business established. Now, not everybody in that list is a homeowner, so not everybody can purchase from you. And even if they are a homeowner, not necessarily will all those people be interested, okay? But one thing those people all represent is they can be a part of your marketing plan, because if they know what it is that you do and they happen to encounter someone who's looking for what you do, they can put you together with that person. So one of the things I tell everybody when you first start out, and I'm thinking about some of the folks there at Safeguard, some of you who are brand new, one of the very first things that you need to do is go through your contact list, reach out to everyone you know, either call them or text them or email them, in some way contact them and let them know that you are in this business, okay? That's one of the very first things that you should do. When this call is over today, I'm going to send to each of you, I'm going to email you the slides that we're going through today, but I'm also going to email you some other things. One of the things I'm going to email you is a short 3-minute and 18-second video. It's a YouTube video. And you may be familiar if you watch Home and Garden TV. Some of you probably do, some don't. But there's a couple brothers called the Property Brothers. They're very popular right now. And they are spokespeople for ADT. And so they do about a 3-minute and 18-second extended commercial where they literally walk through all of our products and services. And it's really, really well done. But that's a great resource for you. You can send that link to people and say, hey, I've just gotten into a new business. I want to send you a link, take you 3 minutes, take a look at it. I'll follow up with you and see what you think. So it's a great way to inform people what you're doing. Just send them that link, let it do the work for you. But the thing is, you want to reach out to everybody you know somehow, some way, and either go see them and explain what you do, send them the link, but you want to actionize that group of people, because they can be a source of leads for you by referring people to you. Now, excuse me one second. One of the things I've learned is that a lot of times new people don't really want to do this. They'll nod their head and say, yeah, that sounds good, but then they don't really get around to doing this. And I think there's 2 reasons why we don't do it. Number one, I think we prejudge people, and we think that there's no reason to call them because they wouldn't be interested. Well, that's a mistake, because you see, we're not trying to sell you're not trying to sell your friends and your family members. What you're doing is you're educating them on what it is you do, and you're asking them to help you. One thing I'll promise you, people may not always give you their money, but they will give you their help if you ask for it. And so don't misunderstand the purpose of what you're doing here. You're not trying to call these folks up to sell them something. You're calling them to let them know what you're doing. And when you take that approach, you're going to find that it really, really works well. Let me just kind of role play with you real quick, an example of this. Let me get Dan. Can you come off mute? Dan Marovich?
Yep.
Hey, will you role play this with me real quick?
Okay.
So I'm going to call Dan. Dan's my uncle. Okay, and so I'm gonna call Uncle Dan and I'm gonna tell him about this. So here we go. Ring, ring. Go ahead and answer the phone, Dan.
Hello?
Hey, Uncle Dan.
Yeah.
Hey, this is your nephew Joe. How you doing?
Wow, what are you up to, Joe?
Well, man, I'm just trying to stay cool out here. 95 degrees and humid, but I'm trying to do the best I can. How about you?
Yeah, I'm roasting over here.
I know that's right. Hey, Uncle Dan, you still growing that garden?
Yeah, it's not doing too well though with the heat, but it's there.
You got any of those tomatoes you're famous for?
Oh yeah, they're I'm trying to water those every day.
Well, I'm hoping to stop by sometime and get me a couple of those things.
Oh yeah, you better act fast. They're going quick.
Good, good. Hey, Uncle Dan, I don't know if the family grapevine is at work or not, but I didn't know if you'd heard, but I just took a new job.
Oh, what are you doing now?
Well, I'm going to be working for an authorized provider for ADT security. Have you heard of ADT, Uncle Dan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the security company. You may have even seen some of our signs in your neighborhood.
Sure.
Well, anyway, I'm really excited about it, and I just went through training yesterday, and they just kind of went through and educated us on the products and services. And one of the things the trainer recommended I do is to reach out to my family members and friends and just let them know what I'm doing. And let me just tell you right up front, Uncle Dan, I'm not trying to reach out to you because I'm trying to sell you anything. In fact, I'm not going to ask you to buy anything. If you're interested in what I'm doing, you're going to need to ask me. What I really wanted to do though was to see if I could pop by and just come by and tell you a little bit about the products and services because I'm hoping that if you run into a neighbor or somebody at work or anyone who might be looking for one of these systems, I'm hoping you'd point them in my direction.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think our neighbor over here might was talking about something like that.
Great, great. Well, is it okay if I pop by after work today, maybe around 6 or 6:30? I promise I won't stay too long.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Great, great. Well, Uncle Dan, I'll see you then around 6:30.
All right, I'll see you then.
Okay. Thanks, Dan. So that just gives you an example of how that call could sound, just very casual. And I'm always very clear. I'm not coming by to sell you anything. I want to take that pressure off them because I don't want that to be awkward for anybody. And I always say that. I always say, listen, in fact, if you're interested, you're going to have to ask me about it. And I'm true to that. When I go by and see Uncle Dan tonight, I'm just going to tell him about the products. I'm going to show him the stuff that we went over yesterday, and I'm going to just talk about it with enthusiasm. Believe me, if Uncle Dan is interested, he's going to ask me how much it costs. And don't be surprised if you do, you probably will make a few sales to your family and friends, but let them ask you. Your main focus for going to see these folks is to educate them on what you're doing so that they can help you. They can help you. See, right now there's a good chance that you're the only person in the whole world that knows you're in this business. And marketing is about helping, is about getting the word out. The best people to get the word out with are the people who know you, love you, and care about you. So that's why you start with your phone contact list. Listen, some of the people in your contact list are casual acquaintances. You might just say, hey, listen, we hadn't talked in a while. Just want to reach out and let you know I got into a new business. Oh, yeah, what are you doing? ADT? Oh, man, that's great. Listen, you mind if I send you a link to a short video talks a little bit about our products? Would you take 3 minutes and look at it and give me some feedback? In fact, I really want you to know what I'm doing in case you run into somebody. So let me text that over to you and I'll follow back up with you tomorrow. Something like that. So however you go about doing it, I just want you to make a commitment to do that. This is so easy to do, and yet it seems like the thing that we just resist doing. Now, remember, in your phone contact list, everybody can be an opportunity for you. You got relatives, you got friends, you got neighbors, you got people you do leisure activities with. Don't forget the value of the people in your contact list that you do business with. Like, anybody in there that you spend money with, believe me, they're willing to help you. Like you might want to go see like your dry cleaner, for example. My dry cleaner, his name's Charlie. I wouldn't have any problem stopping by and saying, hey, Charlie, how you doing? Oh, hey, Joe, good to see you. Yeah, I wanted to stop by and pick up my shirts. you know, and then I just say, listen, Charlie, I don't know if you know or not, but recently I got started in a new business. Oh yeah, what are you doing? I tell him, and I'll go on to explain a little bit about the products right there at the counter. Now, Charlie may or may not be interested in a system for his home or his business. If he is, he'll tell me. But the thing that I can almost guarantee you is because you spend money with Charlie, he's going to ask you for some flyers or business cards to put on the counter. He's going to do whatever he can do to help you. So remember that you've got people in your phone list that you spend money with. Let them help you. Okay. So get the word out. That's number one. Again, very simple, but it's the most important thing you can do right now, right out of the blocks. And when you know, we went through the products yesterday. I'm going to send you these links today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how to actually give a presentation if somebody's interested. So it's time for you to start reaching out to people and letting them know what you're doing. Any questions anybody wants to ask about that? I mean, this is common sense stuff, I know, but I really want to take the time to explain it because people tend to go out and try to call on total strangers when you could start with the people you love and care about. And this will give you great practice explaining the products. Any questions about this? Hopefully this makes sense to everybody. Okay, well, hearing none, let's move on to the next topic, which is the new homeowner program. The new homeowner program, I like to talk to everybody about this because I think this is a great thing for you to do when you're brand new. New homeowners are really easy to talk to, and this is a very, very profitable segment of the market for us. In fact, we know a national statistic is that 40% of all new movers will get a security system from somebody sometime in their first 6 months. So 4 out of 10 of these people are going to get a system anyway. So they might as well get it from you. Okay. The other thing we like about the new movers is the market is unlimited. Okay. There are new people moving all the time. In fact, the average American moves once every 6 years. So there's an endless supply of these people. You never run out. Now, the key to developing a new mover program is that you need to, first of all, find a data source. So let's go real quick and pull up my, my web browser. Give me 1 second here. See if I can find my web browser. Where the heck is it? Here we go. Let me pull up my web browser. Let's get a fresh web page. Can you guys see, well, it's loading. Can you guys see my web browser? Somebody kind of confirm that for me.
We can see it, Joe.
Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to type in Redfin. This is one of the sites I like to use because it's free. You can also use Zillow. You can use Realtor.com. Let's see here. Let me minimize that. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up Redfin.com. Miranda, are you out there? Are you able to come off mute? Okay. Let's see here. How about, let me go back to Dan again, Dan Marovich. Dan, what's your zip code where you live?
19335.
You can do this with a zip code. You can put in a city if you want. It doesn't matter. I like to do zip code because when I set one of these programs up, I want to minimize the work I have to do to make a sale. So I want to kind of work in and around my own area. So I'm using Dan's zip code here. And what happens when I push that in is I get this little gray outline on the map of Dan's zip code. He's just a little bit west of Philadelphia. And so that's his zip code. And over here I get pictures of houses. Now these pictures over here are pictures of houses that are for sale. I want to come up here to this little place where it says more filters. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to turn the listing status from for sale over to the recently sold homes. Okay. And right here it defaults to the last 3 months. I'm going to choose the last week and apply the filter. So what I'm looking for here is in Dan's zip code is I want to see I want to find the houses that have closed in the last week. And in his zip code, there are 7 homes that have closed in the last week. Like this one here closed on Monday. Dan, that's on Lahawa Drive. You might recognize that. Here's one that closed last week on Luna Drive. Here's one on Hampton Drive. So you can see them right here. So there's 7 houses right there in Dan's zip code that closed in the last 7 days. Now there's 2 approaches that you can take to working with these new homeowners. My preferred approach is to go see them in person, but that's because I like to be proactive. You can also do a mailing program. But let's start with if we're going to do a face-to-face program. Now, 7 homes a week is not going to be enough, Dan, to keep you really busy. I really want you to have about 30 homes a week. If you've got 30 homes a week, you're going to make about 2 to 3 sales a week. Okay, and as a new person starting out, that gives you a good basis to work from. You know, once you add referrals, friends and family, some other methods on top of that, you can work your way up to maybe a sale a day or even better. But to get you out of the blocks, I want you to be able to get at least 2 to 3 sales a week. And so this program will do that for you. But we got to have more than 7 homes. So here's what I'm going to do, Dan. I'm going to click this little button here that says draw. And when I do that, it's going to allow me to just maybe expand your kind of your target market a little bit. So I'm just going to get a little bit bigger circle here. And when I do that, let's see how many homes we get. Well, I got too many. There's 73. So let's do that one more time. I can actually get a little bit smaller probably. And Dan would know kind of what makes the most sense for him, but what I'm trying to do is find about 30 homes. Okay, well, there's 38. That's close enough. Okay. So in the last week right there, and Dan, you know, you can see the map there. That's probably what, 15 to 30 minutes of driving in any direction?
Yeah,
Not
probably not even that.
Probably not even that, right? So everybody's market's a little bit different. But so Dan can probably stay in a 30-mile driving radius and find him 30 homes. Okay, so there we go. We got 30 homes. Now, Dan, at the bottom of the list of the pictures here, let's scroll down here to the bottom of the pictures. Right here, well, that's interesting. It doesn't show it on yours. Sometimes they'll have a little button here that allows you to download it into a spreadsheet, but it doesn't matter. All your address is right here. Now, Dan, the next thing I would tell you is that we need to organize this into a driving route because, you know, again, you don't want to spend, you don't want to waste a lot of time, crossing over yourself. So here's what I would recommend you do. We're going to go back to my web browser and I'm going to type in, there's an app that a number of my dealers have told me is a very cost-effective app. It's like $10 a month. It's called Road Warrior, and it works on iOS or Android. And Road Warrior is just a route planner, and it's like $10 a month. There's no contract. You just download it onto your phone or your tablet. So when you go to Redfin and you get those addresses, you just load them into this app, and then you're going to hit the route button. And what it's going to do, I don't know if you can see that picture there, but it's going to, here's a better picture maybe. It's going to create a route for you, a driving route, okay, an intelligent driving route for you, okay? And then, and you can actually you have to manually enter the addresses in, but again, it's only $10 a month. And then you can just delete them as you catch the people home. And then each week as you add new ones back in. So this way it will optimize a route for you, a driving route. So if you're going to go calling people, I would highly recommend a routing software to help you there. Okay. So use Redfin, Zillow, or Realtor.com to find the addresses of the new homeowners, and then use some type of a routing software to get yourself set up. Okay, now let's go back to let's go back to the slide here. So now we got that done. So now what are you going to need from a tool standpoint? Well, I strongly recommend if you're going to visit people in person that you get yourself some type of a logoed outerwear, a shirt. You know, we can provide you the logos. You can get your own screen printing or your own embroidery done, or you can even order shirts from us. Get yourself a clipboard. You need some type of a sales visual. If you were on the class yesterday, I sent you some PDFs of pictures of the equipment. You can print those and put them in a binder, or you can use that alarm.com demo app that I mentioned to you yesterday. So, you know, whatever you do, just some kind of a sales visual, a clipboard, shirt, and you probably also want to have a badge, you know, a picture ID that, you know, kind of says who you are and what you're doing. Okay, so that's all you really need to get started on this. Now, whenever you go up to the first house, what you want to do, a couple things, just some best practices for you. Go up to the door, knock on the door, never ring the doorbell. Problem with ringing the doorbell is sometimes the doorbell is not going to work and you won't hear it. You're not sure what to do. You don't want to start knocking because if the doorbell did work and you just didn't hear it, well, that can make you seem impatient. So don't get stuck in that bind. Just go up there and give a nice knock. After you knock, back away from the door, go down, go off the porch a few steps, and give them plenty of space. Not just because of the COVID thing, but just give people space. When they come to the door, you don't want to be crowding them there at the door. So back up and give them some space. And then never stare at the door. Always be looking down at your clipboard. That way, when they come to the door and they look through the peephole, they're going to see that you're kind of off at a distance. You look preoccupied. You look very non-threatening. That's what's really important. Of course, they see the ADT logo on your shirts. They know who you are. Makes you feel, and they feel like you're legitimate, and so they're going to open the door. Now, when they open the door, it's very important that you don't look up and jump on them because you know they're still sizing you up. Give them a minute to get their feet under them. So you just keep looking at your clipboard like you're concentrating on something, or maybe doodling with your pen. Just don't look up. They'll realize that you didn't hear them. And what they always do at that point is they open the outer door, which is usually a storm door or a screen door, and they'll put one foot out on the porch and they'll stick their head around the door and they'll say, "Can I help you?" Now they're ready for you to talk with them. So when they say, "Can I help you?" that's when you're going to want to look up with a smile and you're going to say, "Hi, how you doing? My name is Joe and I'm with the local authorized provider for ADT. I actually work with the new homeowner department for our company, so I've got a pretty good idea when everybody moves in. You must be the new homeowner here." They're going to say yes, and you're going to say, "Well, congratulations on your new home. Boy, I can sure see why you picked this one." Well, they know you're working them, but they can't help but to smile because they're so proud of their new home. And then you say, and by the way, as you get ready to say this next part, you start moving up the steps towards them, slowly moving towards them. You say, "Listen, you could pay quite a bit to have one of our systems installed, but you don't need to worry about it. It's already taken care of. Only thing I need to know is which package you'd like to have installed. Can I borrow your countertop for a moment? I'll show you what you get." And then you break eye contact, you start wiping your feet off, you look down, and you wait for them to step back and hold the door for you. That's the script. So let's do it one more time. "Hi, how you doing? My name's Joe. I'm with the local authorized dealer for ADT. I actually work in the new homeowner department for our company, so I have a pretty good idea when everybody moves in. You must be the new homeowner. Well, congratulations on your new home. Boy, I can sure see why you picked this one. Listen, you could pay quite a bit to have one of our systems installed, but you don't have to worry about it. It's already taken care of. Only thing I need to know is which package you like to have installed. Can I borrow your countertop for a moment? I'll show you what you get." Break eye contact, start wiping your feet, look down, watch for them to step back and hold the door. That's all there is to it. Now, the reason you want to have a script when you do this is because you only have about 10 to 15 seconds to get engagement with this person. If you start rambling and you're all over the place, even if they were interested, they might not let you in. But if you're just very clean and simple and confident because you know what you're going to say, and by the way, you really only got time to say three things. Tell them who you are. I'm Joe with the local authorized provider for ADT. Tell them why you're on their porch. I work with the new homeowner department. And tell them what you want. Have you got a minute? Can I borrow your countertop? I'll show you what you get. It's that simple. Now listen, you're not going to talk anybody into buying a system just because you say this script. It's not going to talk anybody into it. What it's going to do is, if you get in front of a person who already is planning to get a security system and hasn't taken action yet, and this is a big and, you've caught them at an opportune time, and you've made a favorable impression, they're going to let you in. My experience is about 1 in 10 are going to check all the boxes. So for new people, if you go out there and you call on 30 of these people a week, you're going to make 2 or 3 sales a week, okay? Because you're going to get about 1 in 10. 4 out of 10 are going to buy from somebody, but they're not going to necessarily buy it from you, and they're not going to buy it from you today. You should be able to get about 1 in 10. That's what the average is, okay? Now, if somebody says to you, I don't think I'm interested, you just smile, thank them for their time, and move on. That's it. Don't try to talk them into it. Don't try to convince. Again, you're brand new, I'm assuming. Don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. This is low-hanging fruit. You're focused on our most valuable prospects, which are our new movers, and you don't need to talk anybody into anything. This is just a matter of going out and giving the script and moving on to the next one. Any questions anybody wants to ask about this? Does that make sense to you? Okay. Now, some of you may say, yeah, but Joe, that's not really what I want to do. I don't really want to go out there and knock on doors. Well, that's fine. Let me remind you before you say no to it, though, that we are in a great time, right, for people to go direct to the consumer. Okay, direct to the consumer is an idea whose time has come. Think about all the people who are working from home today, getting deliveries to their front door. People are buying from home. I mean, what we do is what Amazon does, or Instacart with the groceries, or any one of a number of other things that are going on right now. We are trendy, what we're doing right now. We're going direct to the consumer, and there's more people home now than there's ever been with the COVID pandemic. So I'm telling you, it's a great time to do this. But still, if this is not your cup of tea, then there's another option that you have, and that is you can do a mailer. Okay, so let's go back real quick, and let me just go back to the Redfin for a second. There we go. Let's go back here. If you're going to do a mailing program, you're going to need to go after more people, though. So if Dan's going to do a mailing program, Dan, now what we need is we need to draw this circle a little bit bigger, because we're going to need 100, because a mailing program needs about 100 a week. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to get a bigger list. Okay, 30 if I'm going to go direct to the consumer, 100 if I'm going to do a mailing program. Well, I got 80 right there. I could go a little bit bigger and get 100. So if you're going to do a mailer program, you're going to want to get 100 names. Okay, and you're going to want to use one of our flyers from our portal. So let's go over to the portal real quick. And let's go under resources, and let's go to marketing materials. And let's go right here to the new homeowner flyer. And all of you have access to this right there in your portal. I'm going to blow that up. Can somebody confirm that you guys can see the new homeowner flyer?
Yeah, I see it.
Perfect, thanks. Okay, and if you'll notice, this is PDF editable. So you can put your name, your phone number, your email address, whatever right there, and download this gorgeous flyer. It's already been approved by ADT. It talks about the free doorbell camera. It's got a picture of our command and control system. So you can go right in there and you can customize that with your name, address, and phone number, download it and print it. Okay. So that's the flyer that you want to use. Okay. So I just want to make sure you knew where to go get that. Let's go back now to the mailer, because what you're going to do is you're going to, let's go back over to the, okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to, this program, this mailing program for new homeowners, you don't have their name. So you're going to address it to new homeowner or current resident or neighbor. And you're going to use plain white envelopes to do this. And you're going to hand address the envelope. Okay. You're going to put your name and your address up in the top left-hand corner, and you're going to put a real stamp on it. Now, people will always open a hand-addressed envelope. Okay. They're always going to open a hand-addressed envelope. And that's the goal. We just need them to see this. Now, if you're going to do this program, we found a website called Color Copies Today. You can upload our flyer into that website, and for $65, you can get 1,000 color copies. My understanding is if you go to like an office supply place like Kinko's or somewhere like that, I mean, it's like 40 cents a copy for color copies. This company will do them for 6.5 cents. Okay, it's on 60-pound paper, and a number of my dealers are doing that. They told me about that. Or you can find probably other companies, but that's one that some of our dealers are using and is working really well. So I put that in the slide for you. I would recommend doing this, going and getting you 1,000 of these flyers. Go ahead and drop $65, because here's what's going to happen. When you do a mailing program, most people tell me that they'll mail 100 a week. They're not going to get any results for 2 or 3 weeks. In other words, it can be 3 weeks before you get your first phone call. Don't get discouraged. That's what people experience. But by the time you've gotten done with 10 weeks worth of mailings, you will have averaged 1 to 2 sales a week. Okay, 1 to 2 sales a week. So we're talking about 10 to 20 sales from this program in a 10-week period. Okay, it can be a good starter point for you when you're first trying to get prospects. Now, if you're going to do this, though, be aware you're going to need to answer your phone, because if people call and you don't answer the phone, they're probably not going to leave a message. They're going to hang up with you and call ADT. So just remember, if you can get the phone call, you got to make sure you answer. So that's really important. Something else some of my dealers are doing is they're taking like a Post-it note and they're putting right on the flyer before they fold it. And they're putting like a little personal note like, "Hi, man, my name's Joe. I'm your local representative. Call me, welcome to the neighborhood. Call me about your free smart home system." So you can do a little personalization on that as well if you want. Okay. But this is a great program. So whether you go out and canvass these people or you do a mailing, everybody should be participating in new homeowners. This is one of the fastest ways to start making sales. And it's a system. You've got to work it regularly. Okay. You either got to go out there and canvas, or you got to take the time to mail out 100 of these each week. Any questions anybody wants to ask about the New Mover program? Any questions? Okay. Dan, does that sound like something that would be something you could do?
Yeah, that's something that I have done in the past. So
okay,
yeah, it fits right in line.
Fits right in line. Steve Manos, I know you're out there. What do you think about this, Steve? Does that look right to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you got 2 approaches to it. Either go canvas them or do the letter program. Okay. So that's an approach. Let's talk about another approach, neighborhood canvassing. This is another approach that you can take, a third approach, and this is where you're going to go pick out a neighborhood, a good neighborhood, and you're going to go basically talk to everybody in the neighborhood. Okay, so this is a different type of an approach. We're going to use a different script when we do this. Now, with the new homeowner program, you're going to talk to about 10 people to make a sale. with a neighborhood canvassing, you're going to need to talk to between 25 and 50 people to make a sale. So you got to talk to a lot more people, because again, you're just going to go talk to random people in a neighborhood. These aren't new movers. Here's what's true though. You can probably talk to 25 to 50 people in the same number of hours as it will take you to talk to 10 people with a new homeowner. See, with the new homeowner program, you're going to spend a lot of time driving around trying to catch them home. That's okay. It'll work for you. Here, you're going to park your car and get out and just start walking. And so finding 25 to 50 people literally is faster than it is when you're chasing new homeowners. That's why most of our top salespeople, people who are, really doing a lot of, most of them are going to be doing neighborhood canvassing. However, Ryan Melchioni, one of the guys that I work with, I just did an interview with Ryan. It's in SoundCloud. You can hear it. He did 50 in the month of June, and he did it by working strictly new homeowners. He worked Boston, Philadelphia, and Orlando. He worked 3 markets in the month of June, working new homeowners, and did 50 installed sales personally in June. As of today, he's got 37 in July. A little bit off his pace. He took off that first week, took a little breather, but he's already got 37 this month. And he works 100% new homeowners. So you don't have to work a neighborhood, but I want you to be aware of this process. Now, if you're going to work a neighborhood, there's 3 things you need to know about picking out a good neighborhood. Number 1, you need to pick out a neighborhood that has more homeowners than it does renters. You need to pick out a neighborhood that has more passing credits than it does failing credits. And you also need to pick out a neighborhood where there's evidence that people are already buying security. I want to make sure that at least 20% of the houses already have a security system sign out front. It's easier to sell where people are already buying. Okay, so when you pick out a neighborhood, make sure it meets those 3 criteria. If you really want to juice it, go to Spot Crime and go in and enter the address of the neighborhood, like one of the, go in and enter like an address or whatever, or just enter the zip code, and you can pull up a map that will show you the recent crime activity. Okay, Spot Crime will put icons on the map that will show you, and when like it's a theft, it will tell you what the block is on a particular street where there's been a recent theft. Okay, so Spot Crime is one of those websites. It's free. There's also one called Crime Mapping. Anyway, if you just go in and type in Spot Crime, you'll see a variety of different mapping softwares. They all pull from police reports, and they're free. Okay, so go into a neighborhood where there's been some recent crime in the neighborhood. That's a way to also kind of juice your results a little bit. Okay, remember we talked about that? But that's what you do. But neighborhood canvassing can be a great approach. Now, honestly, with new people, I like to start you on new homeowners, because I find that only having to talk to 10 people to make a sale is a little bit easier on you when you're building your confidence. Having to talk to 25 to 50 people to get to one sale, if you don't have a lot of confidence, that can kind of, really bash your head in, if you know what I mean. So that's why I tend to move new people to start with the new homeowners before you go with neighborhood canvassing. But you can do either. They both work. Now, I don't know if you have heard of our largest dealer, Evo Automation. Evo Automation did last summer, they did 8,000 sales last summer, installed sales. This summer, they're on track for 10,000. They hire college students, and they teach them a script, and they send them out just to work all the neighborhoods in a particular town during the summer. And these college kids have great results, but they work hard. And they literally go out there and talk to every single homeowner. Okay. Now I've got their script, and I'm going to share it with you now, and I'm going to send it to you so you can see what it is they say. Okay. So here's how their script works. They knock on the door, they back away from the door like I told you. Person opens up the door, they wait for them to, open up the outer door. They say, "Can I help you?" They look up and they say, "Yes, quick question. Are you the homeowner here?" Person says yes. They say, "You've heard of ADT, correct?" "Well, yes. My boss noticed that recently we're getting lots of calls in this area from people wanting one of our new smart home security systems. Have you seen ADT's commercials for the new smart home systems?" Now, it doesn't matter if they say yes or no, you're going to continue. And you say, well, the boss wants us to increase the number of homes in this area that have one of our signs out front. And so if you qualify, he's willing to compensate you by paying for all of your equipment and even the cost of installation. All you're going to need to do is cover the cost of $1 to $2 per day to cover so that we can connect you to local police, fire, and medical authorities through ADT. And of course, you're going to need to put one of our signs out front. Have you got 5 minutes? They look down, brush their feet, wait for them to step back, hold the door for them. And that's it. Now, this script is based on the idea that we're out there trying to drum up some advertising. And the boss sent me out here looking for a few people to help us advertise. If you qualify, he's willing to pay for all your equipment. He's willing to pay for your equipment, even your installation. All you got to do is pay for the monthly service, which is going to cost you between $1 and $2 a day. Have you got 5 minutes? Now, they know they're not going to talk anybody into buying a security system. But they also know that there's people in every neighborhood that are already thinking about it. So if you're thinking about it and I've caught you at an opportune time and I've made a favorable impression on you, you're going to say, well, yeah, we've been thinking about getting one. Come on, tell me what you got. Because it sounds like a deal, right? And it is a deal. That's called a promotions team script. Listen, there's lots of different scripts. This is one I like to use, though, because, again, it works. 8,000 systems last summer using college students. 10,000 this summer using college students. So there's no question it works. So again, you'll get this in the slides here, but that's another approach you can take. Another approach you can take. Any questions you want to ask about the promotion script? By the way, if somebody says, I'm not interested, thank them for their time and move on. Don't sit there and try to talk people into it. You're not that good yet. Now, if you get to be a Greg Norman, that's a whole different story. Because after you've done this thousands of times, you'll start to recognize what's a soft, I'm not interested, from a hard, I'm not interested. And Greg will tell you, when you get a soft, not interested, you know to ask a few more questions, okay? But for you as a brand new person, the way they teach these college kids, they say, listen, don't spend more than 90 seconds at the door, move to the next one. Your job is to talk to as many people as you can in a day. The more people you talk to, the more easy ones you find. That's the philosophy. And that's what I want you to do, because you'll beat yourself up and end up hating this if you take it personally, feel like it's your responsibility to sell everybody. That'll run you out of this faster than anything. You're simply offering it to as many people as you can in a day. Now, by the way, just kind of as a note to, I've trained thousands of people, and I'm just going to tell you, if you'll give me 8 hours of real canvassing activity, out talking to people, if you'll give me 8 hours of activity, you're going to make a sale. That's about what it averages for new people. For every 8 hours you're out there working it, you're going to make a sale. Okay, that's about what a new person can expect. I don't know how much commission your dealership pays you. We don't get into commissions on these calls, but just divide what the average commission is by 8 hours and see if that's worthwhile to you. If it is, go to work. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I can tell you, when people aren't selling, there's no mystery to me. They're not working. And generally, if they'll be honest with me, they'll agree to that. If you work, you sell. The reason Ryan Melchioni did 50 is because he literally went out there and worked that. I mean, he worked hard. He put the hours in. He showed up. He did what he was supposed to do. It's not because he's great. I mean, listen, you get good when you sell 50 in a month. The more you sell, the better you get. So there's no doubt he's good, but he put the work in. So if you're going to do canvassing, put the work in. Don't expect to make a sale for anything less than 8 hours of work. Okay, 8 hours. Okay, another approach, number 4, is small business. Greg, come off mute there and just talk for a minute about what you say when you walk into a small business. You're the expert in this. Talk about what you say when you walk into a small business.
Sure. I just walk in. I want to introduce myself, so I'll ask for the owner and say, My name's Greg. I'm at the local ADT dealer. I actually have an appointment down the street, but I did want to introduce myself. Let you know we have a program where we can update the alarm system and talk about different things like lights, locks, thermostats, really update the security. And I'd love to take 10 minutes and meet with you. What would be a good time I can pop back in and talk to you about it?
Wow. Simple, guys. Simple. If somebody goes out and puts in 8 hours of doing what you just did there, will they make a sale?
I don't know how they could not make a sale.
Right.
It'd be harder not to sell if you did that for 8 hours.
That's the key. And Greg will tell you this. If you work, you sell. If you don't, you don't. Simple. And reading your training manual is not work. Coming to my webinar is not work. Work is out there in the arena engaged. That's the work. You got to put the hours in. So don't think that, listen, this business will pay you more per hour than most of you have the pedigree to be able to go command from a salaried position, without a doubt. I mean, most of the people on this call, you're not going to go out there and get a job that will pay what this job will pay, where somebody's going to pay you a salary. You've got to go earn this. And the key is being disciplined enough to put the work in. That's why we get paid the big bucks, because most people aren't disciplined enough to put the work in. And most people can't handle the people who say they're not interested. That's really what keeps people from being successful, is they get their feelings hurt. Hey, I'll be honest with you. I don't like it either. It hurts my feelings, but I'm so focused on what the goal is that I've learned how to deal with that. It's not that I'm immune to it any more than you are, but it's all about the work. That's the key. So the small businesses are great. And one thing that Greg will tell you, the door of a small business will always open. Unlike a residence, the door is always going to open. And you're going to have an opportunity not only to sell them for their business, you got the owner's home, and you even have employees who own homes. So you've got multiple shots, multiple bites at the apple. So go listen to Greg's episode on SoundCloud. He does about a 45-minute talk on it. It's awesome. And we'll just let you go get some more information about that. Okay, very good. Thanks, Greg. Let's talk about a couple other things that you can do. I want to talk about social media for a minute. Social media is really big for a lot of you, and I want to make sure, let me go back real quick to the portal. So I want to make sure to cover this with everybody. We have some real opportunities in your portal that you can take advantage of. Let's go back to the portal here. So in the portal, we have all these social media posts. These are for different holidays, but we put new ones up here all the time. Like right here. Let's see here. What was the last ones that we put up here? The third week of July, we put up, let's see what this one was. Oops. That was too small to see. Let me look at this one right here. Let's see, week 3 of July, post number 3. I don't know why these are so small. There you go. So there's an example. These are gorgeous. And there's a bunch of them in there. We try to give you new ones every week, but again, it's going to be ADT branded. It's already been approved. You can stick it out there on your Facebook or your Instagram, and then put an appropriate caption down here with your contact information. But you have enough stuff in here that you could literally be, almost 3 or 4 times a week, you can be putting new stuff out there. One of the ones I love for new people is this one here, Now Offering. This is a great one for introducing your, hey, I'm now doing this, right? Show some of the products and things. But I want to make sure everybody knows that that's there for you, and we want you to use it. It's all branded. It's ready to go. It's approved. Awesome stuff there. You also have, you also have things like let's go up here to the team management. Under the work from home tab, you're going to have a lead generation link that is customized for each of you right here. And if you take that link and let me just take that link and copy it. Let's open up another browser window. Oops. And when they open up that link, here's what it's going to be. It's a gorgeous flyer. Talks about our technicians are screened. We're still installing. We're essential service. Talks about porch pirates, free doorbell camera. And then it's going to give you, we're here to help. And that's going to be a number that's going to come right to you. It's a landing page for you. It's also going to give you a form they can fill out and submit that will come emailed to you. And whenever it comes to you, you got consent to call them back. So this is like a personal landing page for you. Okay. So, one of the things that I like to do with this is after I sign up a new customer, I like to always tell the customer that I like to invite them to join my ambassador program. And what that means is I'm really counting on them to help me help others. And so if I send you this link, would you send it out to your contacts? Would you text it out to some of your friends and family for me? Let them know that you've become a customer of mine, and if they have an interest, they should contact me. And you send that link to your customers, they'll send it out for you. So it's an awesome program, okay? So that's an example of something that you can do from a social media standpoint. Any questions about that? Anybody wants to ask? Okay, so just be aware of those resources that you have. One other thing I want to tell you about with social media, let me go back to the slide. Some of you are probably familiar with Nextdoor, Nextdoor.com. Definitely a good source of new business. Go into Nextdoor.com, sign up in your own neighborhood. You'll have access to your neighborhood's feed. People are always asking for referrals, like, hey, does anybody know a good alarm company? Also, if you monitor the feed, you'll see neighbors talking to each other about things. On this particular day in my neighborhood, somebody had reported a suspicious car, and shortly after that, somebody came out and said, hey, I'm missing a package from my front porch. Whole neighborhood got a buzz. I just simply inserted myself and said, hey, listen, it's terrible what's happening, but listen, I can get you a free doorbell camera with our video package. I represent ADT as a local authorized provider. I'm your neighbor. Here's my number. Give me a ring if you're interested. I understand you can even advertise just for a few bucks. You can even advertise, run an ad on this. So this is a closed social media group just for neighborhoods. Okay, so that's a very localized form of marketing. This is social media. A lot of my dealers and sales reps tell me that one of the ways they do business off of social media is by joining groups, like Facebook groups. They'll join local neighborhood Facebook groups. And again, same idea, just watch the feed and look for people who have a problem. Somebody's bikes got stolen. You can reach out, you can instant message that person directly and say, listen, I can help you with a camera solution, for example. So social media is something that can be done very easily, and you can do that when you're not out canvassing. So social media is a good one. Any questions or any comments about social media? Anybody wants to ask? Let's talk about one more before we wrap up for today. Let's talk about referral partnerships. I'm really a big proponent of developing strategic alliances with people that you can help and they can help you. Okay, a strategic alliance, everybody has to win. And let's just use an example of people who work with new home buyers. Since the new home buyer is one of our best prospects, why not partner with people who work with those new home buyers? Now, to build a win-win relationship, let's say with a realtor, the way we can do that is that, you know, the win-win is we can make sure that the realtor, if they will refer their new buyer directly to us, you know, we can help the buyer by maybe giving them some type of a premium offer they can't get normally. In other words, because I don't have to go out and find these people, I can afford to spend a little bit of my commission incentivizing their deal. Maybe, you know, giving them a discount on a smoke detector, or maybe even giving them a smoke detector or something. Give them an extra piece of equipment. I can also incentivize the realtor by sharing some of the commission with them in the form of a referral fee. Listen, you know, when I talk to realtors, I explain to them, listen, your customers are going to probably become my customer anyway. Let's work together, or they're going to become a customer in my industry. Let's work together to make sure you and I both get part of the action, you know? So the realtor gets a referral fee. I don't have to go out and knock on doors to find somebody, and the new buyer can get a premium offer. So, you know, structure those types of deals with people, and where everybody wins, and those situations can be good long term for you. Now, the best way to build these relationships is to look in your phone book, look in your contact list, and think about who you know that is a realtor. Think about who you know that's a home inspector, or maybe a mortgage broker, or maybe an insurance agent. In other words, don't go out and cold call real estate agents. You know, Steve will tell you that gets very irritating for the real estate agents. You know, the better approach is to start with the one you know, and develop a relationship with them, and have that relationship produce some success, and then get them to introduce you to some of the other realtors in their office. And so you just kind of work on a referral basis to build these networks. These things don't happen overnight, but you can build networks of alliances like this, and have, you know, have a bigger referral business down the road, which means you have to spend less of your time going out and canvassing, you know, and sending mailers and things of that nature, because you're now getting to work more on a referral basis, which is what we would all like to do. So just think about people that you know like that you can work with, that you already have in your phone list, and contact them. Let them know what you're doing. You know, if you've got all of you should have an insurance agent, because most of you have a car. So you got an insurance agent. Call your insurance agent. Just say, hey, Sam, hadn't talked to you in a while. Wanted to let you know I got into a new business. And let them know what you're doing, and saying, Sam, you know, it occurs to me that you and I do the same thing. We both are in the business of protecting what matters most to people, you know, their homes and their families. Okay. For most people, their home is their most valuable asset. In the family, that's the people who lives there that they care and love the most in the whole world. So we're in that same business. It also occurs to me, Sam, that your company probably gives a discount to anyone who has a professionally installed and monitored alarm system, because you know that that's going to reduce claims. Let me help you, Sam. Okay. Let me help your customers get that discount. Let me help you get reduced claims. And any of your customers who sign up during the month of August, I'm going to give them a free piece of equipment. Let me send you one of my flyers. Will you email it out to all your customers for me? And put a program like that together. So that's an example of how you can do something like that. You know, we've got several flyers, not just the new home flyer, but we've got a couple other flyers in there that are editable, that you can download and send to your insurance agent and have them send it out to them. So think about those referral partnerships that you can develop in your area, that you can work on. That can be another good source of business for you. Finally, last thing I want to say to you today is we talk about developing referrals. You know, to me, developing referrals is the goal. But often people ask me, well, what's the easiest way to get referrals? There is no easy way to get referrals. You have to earn referrals. And so just think about this as you're starting your career and you're developing your business. Anytime you're fortunate enough to be able to sit down with somebody and go over your product with them, always treat them with the utmost respect. Always think about making that favorable impression. When I sit down with somebody, I'm thinking about more than just making a sale. I'm thinking about developing a relationship with this person that's going to last for a lifetime. See, the sale that I make to you today is going to earn me a commission, and that's important to me. But let's think about it. I'm going to probably spend that commission, if I haven't already, probably within the next week or two. But that relationship you and I start, that could be a source of income to me for many, many years to come. So I'm going to treat you and your family and your home with respect, and I'm going to do everything I can to be fun to work with and be the kind of person that you would recommend to your friends, right? Nobody's going to recommend somebody that they didn't have a good experience with. So I'm going to be very careful about that. Now, after I sign you up, I'm going to show back up on the day of your install. I'm going to be there when the technician shows up to introduce you and make sure things get started correctly, okay? That's just an added value that I'm going to do. The day after your install, I'm going to call you to see what other questions you have, because I promise you, after the install and after the technician has trained you how to use your system, they're going to give you so much information, you're bound to forget a few things. And you're going to be sitting there the next day with a question, and all of a sudden I pop in, you go, yeah, I'm glad you called, Joe. I did have a question. So I follow up the day after. Then I'm going to make sure that you are contacted by me every 3 months. And the easiest way for me to do that is create a newsletter that I can email out to you once a quarter. And in that newsletter, it's just going to be simple things like seasonal safety tips and things of that nature. I may interview one of my customers and promote their business in a newsletter. I may include some recipes for my favorite cookies. Who knows? But it's going to be something fun that's just going to remind you that I'm out here for you, and you're going to receive that from me once a quarter. Once a year, I'm going to stop in and just check on you. It's going to be a live visit, pop in, and I'm just going to say, hey, I don't know if you know it, but it's been a year since you've had your system. Man, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. Wanted to stop in and see if you had any questions, if you needed anything. So this is a system for developing referrals that I'm talking to you about here. Most people won't do these kinds of things, and then they wonder why they don't get referrals. See, if you've been in our business for any period of time, you should be getting phone calls where people call you that you don't know, where they say, hey, you don't know me, but I just moved to town. One of the people I work with told me that you're the person to see about a security system. Me and my wife would love to have you come out and talk to us about a system. So you're going to get those kind of phone calls if you have a referral system that keeps you in front of your customers and helps you develop that. Now, this takes a while to develop. So you got to go out, listen, you got to start with the things we talked about, working your friends and family, going out and doing some new homeowners. You got to get started, but over time you can develop a business where most of your business comes from referral. And that is when it really, really gets very, very gratifying and it becomes fun. So when people ask me, how do I get referrals? I tell them, you got to earn them. You got to earn them. In fact, referrals are a symptom of the fact that you're doing good service, you're creating good relationships, and you have a system. So just think about that as you're developing your business. We talked today about friends and family. We talked a little bit about new homeowners. We talked about neighborhood canvassing. We talked a little bit about doing some social media and where you can get some of those marketing flyers. We talked about doing a mailing program. And we talked about working with referral partnerships, building those, and just referrals in general. So all of these are systems that you can pick and choose from. You may want to use them all. There's other things that you can do that you'll see in the slides here, but those are some of the ones that people are using pretty successful right now. Was this helpful to you? Did anybody pick up an idea today that you'd be willing to share with me that you think was helpful? Was there something in particular that was helpful for you from the class today? I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. The Facebook ads, the stuff that you're posting and all the pictures, I think that's going to be super useful for me. Okay,
good. Anybody else there at Safeguard pick up an idea? Colin, I know you've sat through this before, but anything you hear today that just kind of was helpful to you?
I mean, the Nextdoor.com app It's something that
Yeah.
I haven't used yet. So
Okay.
we're gonna work on using that and then sending out the link from the portal all over the place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Steve Manos, anything we talk about today in particularly helpful for you?
It all was helpful. I like it all.
Okay. 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 It was good. It was a good investment of time to be here today.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Perfect. How about Dan? Dan, what did you pick up today, Dan? What was particularly helpful to you today?
I think all the resources that's available, and utilizing, the online presence, your local market presence,
Right.
to just piggyback off of the Redfin resource. I use just being in business development in the past, I've used a website called Reference USA, and
Okay.
it's also through your local library. If you have a
Okay.
library card, you can get free access to that website, and it's a data can use one of those new home address and then just hit everybody on that street by knowing their
Okay.
it will list the address and the
Good.
be current to the new home buyer, but at least you have that whole neighborhood there. So just to throwing that out there to everybody on the call as well, I think it would be a good resource to market.
Perfect. Excellent. 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 Lawrence, I see you're out there.
Hey Joe, how you doing? I thought the nextdoor.com was pretty cool. That's something I hadn't seen yet, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, good. Well, and those are some things that you can add to what you're doing. Now, Lawrence is on the call here, and Lawrence has just started door knocking this week. I think you went out and you're doing neighborhood canvassing, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know yesterday you gave 15 door pitches, and I think you gave 15 door pitches on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
And getting close, hadn't made a sale yet, but getting close. And that's kind of how it starts. You just got to get out there and start doing it. Any questions you got while we're on the call about your which script are you using?
I'm using the second one that you had shared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that seems to be working good. You feel good about that?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I feel like it helps to get to the point and go through the numbers, and I really feel like it's just a matter of finding the person that needs that needs it. So yeah, I think that's a good approach. It's pretty cool.
Well, and keep in mind 25 to 50 people to make a sale when you're using that. And so one of the things that I want you to work on is either putting more hours in each day if you can, or just getting more efficient so that you can see more people, because 15 is really not enough to really count on making a sale a day. And that's kind of what you want to be focused on. You want to try to build yourself to where you can be talking to 25 to 50 people a day. I did an interview on SoundCloud with Larry Manuel back in the fall, and Larry is been in our business for 20 years. And he's a guy that when he's on, he can sell every day. And he does 100% neighborhood canvassing. And he has one of those little, those clickers, like those little clickers on his belt. You can do, that's an old school clicker, but you can also do it with an app now, but it's a counter, right? And so, it's like, you used to see them where people would count the number of people coming into a bar, to kind of keep count. But he has a clicker, and he goes out every day, and his goal is to talk to 125 people.
Nice.
125 people. So there's no doubt he's selling every day, right? So it really is, that's the thing for you is getting your activity up. 15 a day is not enough when you're doing neighborhood canvassing, because it's going to take 25 to 50 to get a sale. And you're going to find the more people you talk to, the faster you're going to be able to get that easy one. So again, in 2 days, you talk to 30 people, you you're right. You know, you're right in that target. I'm betting that today you're probably going to get a sale, but try to focus on getting that 15 up. You know, try to get up. You know, maybe set the next goal to get to 25 a day, and then maybe 30 a day, and just keep moving your capacity up, because you know when these college kids for Evo go out, they talk to 100 people a day. I mean, they really do. They go out they start at 10 in the morning, and they stay out until dark. And they just go through. I mean, and again, the proof's in the pudding. Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, folks, thanks for being on the call today. Tomorrow, come back. We're going to go over the in-home sales presentation tomorrow, what to do once somebody says, yeah, come on in. I'm going to go over that presentation with you tomorrow, so I hope you'll be here for that. Until tomorrow, thanks for being here. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon. Okay. You got it. You got it.
Personally.